This is QTV Nightly News, which is also available on Q Radio 103.3 FM. And I am Jenna Basonko. Thank you for joining us here at the Main News Headlines. The Gambia has joined the strong condemnation of Israeli airstrikes on Iran and reaffirmed its steadfast support for Palestine at the 51st OIC Foreign Ministers meeting in Istanbul. At an event at the Gambian Naval Command grounds in Banjul, 2 rigid-hulled inflatable boats donated by the British High Commission were handed over to the naval commands on Wednesday. On Tuesday, the Embassy of the Gambia in Washington, D.C. issued an advisory press release after confirming reports that the Gambia may be among 36 countries facing possible travel restrictions to the United States of America. The first group of 39 Gambian workers choosing for seasonal employment departed for Spain on Tuesday from Banjul International Airport. And in international news, in a landmark initiative to prioritize the rights and welfare of Africa's youngest citizens, the African Union and its partners issued a strong call to action for inclusive and quality healthcare across the continent in Ethiopia. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. Thank you for staying with us. This is QTV News and I am Jenna Basonko. The Gambia has added its voice to the strong condemnation of Israeli airstrikes on Iran and reaffirmed its unwavering support for Palestine. The remarks were made by Foreign Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara at the 51st OIC Foreign Ministers meeting in Istanbul. Usman Jatta has the rest of that story.
Tensions between Israel and Iran escalated dramatically after Israel launched a large-scale attack on June 13, claiming these were targeted attacks on specific persons and locations. Iran's health ministry reported nearly 500 casualties, while Israeli sources say Iranian missiles killed 24 in Israel and caused extensive infrastructural damage. At the OIC Council meeting in Istanbul, Gambia's Foreign Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara called the Israeli strikes a blatant violation of Iran's sovereignty. He also denounced the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, warning that nearly 300,000 children may face imminent famine. Tangara urged the international community to support Palestinian statehood along 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as the capital, asserting that diplomacy remains the only path to lasting peace in the region. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump, commenting on a fragile ceasefire, criticized Israel's renewed strikes, saying he was not happy with Tel Aviv's decision to escalate. However, Iran, while denying any ceasefire breach, warned it would respond to future Israeli aggression. The escalating conflict continues to draw global concern, with most nations condemning the violence and urging both sides to exercise restraint and prioritize diplomacy. For now, the ceasefire seems to be holding, with both sides claiming victory. Osman Jatta, reporting for QTV News.
Appropriately, on International Day of the Seafarer, 2 rigid-hulled inflatable boats donated by the British High Commission were handed over to the Naval Command at an event held at the Gambian Naval Command grounds in Banjul on Wednesday. Loliam Kamara attended, and this is her report.
The event began with the welcoming of dignitaries, followed by the inspection of the Guard of Honor. The donation of the RIPs is part of a broader initiative by the British government to support the Gambia's efforts to enhance its coastal patrols, surveillance and rapid response capabilities. Farah Job, the commander of Naval Command, says this donation complements their continuous efforts to enhance maritime security, operational readiness and rapid response capabilities. In receiving the keys to the vessels, he reminded the beneficiaries of the responsibility to use them effectively, maintain them diligently, and also operate them with the high level of discipline and skills the Navy is known for. Lieutenant Colonel Sigolin Hobson, UK's defense advisor to the Gambia, and Her Excellency Harriet King, the British High Commissioner to the Gambia expressed delight that the event has come to fruition. Both shed light on the bilateral ties between the two countries.
We knew that these were vessels, fast boats that had been used and tested in the most rigorous of circumstances. So we knew they would be up to the job, the very important and special job of the Gambian Navy.
And there are so many areas where I want to try and make a difference, be it in the area of justice, governance, education, the rights of women and girls, health. But one thing which, as soon as I arrived, I realized was particularly strong and something that I wanted to support in any way that I could. And that was the very strong and deep relationship between the United Kingdom's armed forces and the Gambian armed forces.
According to Lieutenant General Mamat O.H.M., the Gambia's Chief of Defense Staff, our marine environment faces numerous challenges such as unregulated fishing, human trafficking and smuggling, which continue to threaten maritime resources and security. Thus, this donation will significantly enhance their ability to respond to these challenges in a timely manner.
These challenges require robust and effective naval presence to deter and respond to the emerging threats. The Gambian Navy plays a critical role in protecting our marine resources and security. Our naval personnel work tirelessly to control our waters, prevent IUU fishing, and safeguard our marine borders.
Shortly after the handing over and taking over of the keys, the delegation and the media were taken on a 5-minute ride to demonstrate the speed of the new boats. These high-speed boats, known for their quickness and effectiveness in shallow waters, will significantly boost the operational capacity of the Gambian Navy in combating the many maritime security threats within Gambian territorial waters. This donation reflects the growing defense partnership between the UK and the Gambia, and it signals a shared commitment to regional peace and maritime safety. QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
On Tuesday, the Embassy of the Gambia in Washington, D.C. confirmed reports that the Gambia may be among 36 countries facing possible travel restrictions to the United States of America. Usman Jata has the details.
Under the Trump administration, the U.S. government continues to tighten immigration policies, intensifying restrictions on asylum seekers and expanding travel bans, all in the name of national security. The Gambian Embassy in Washington, D.C. has issued a press release advising Gambians, both in the diaspora and those planning to travel to the United States, to comply strictly with U.S. immigration laws. This follows reports of the Gambia's inclusion on a list of countries potentially facing new travel restrictions. In particular, Gambian nationals are urged to avoid illegal entry and to respect the terms and duration of the U.S. visas. Overstaying or violating visa conditions could lead to serious immigration consequences. The embassy encourages Gambian citizens residing in the U.S. to contact its consular section and to register through the Gambian Citizen Registration Platform on the embassy's official website. Meanwhile, the Gambia-based Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice has raised concern over the silence of ECOWAS leaders on this issue during their 67th ordinary session held on June 22, 2025 in Abuja, Nigeria. The center criticizes the bloc's failure to address the U.S. travel ban affecting 13 of its 15 member states, including the Gambia, calling it discriminatory, unethical and a breach of international law and human rights. The center urges ECOWAS to take a strong position against such policies, which it says disproportionately affect West Africans at home and abroad. However, the Gambian embassy in Washington reaffirmed its commitment to engaging constructively with the U.S. government through diplomatic channels to address the situation. Additionally, the embassy has informed Gambians of a voluntary departure program for Gambians and citizens of any country residing illegally in the United States. A financial incentive is available for those who choose to apply online and return home voluntarily. through a recently launched program by the U.S. Department for Homeland Security, the so-called Voluntary Self-Deportation Scheme. Osman Jatta, reporting for QTV News.
From that story by Usman Jatta, we will now be taking a short commercial break. And when we return, we'll hear about a 2-day capacity building training for National Human Rights Commissioners, staff on climate change and human rights, plus highlights from the Olympic Day celebrations in Basse, organized by the Gambian National Olympic Committee. To stay.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bii bépp xeetu ataaye bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaye bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaye bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaye bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Bank. We are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jennifer Sonko. Still on local news, the first batch of 39 Gambian workers selected to take up seasonal employment in Spain left on Tuesday, following a pre-departure orientation by the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment on Monday. Our Bob has the rest of that.
These Gambian workers are traveling to Spain under the newly launched Labour Mobility Initiative. These and other agreements were signed following the visit in August 2024 to the Gambia and other West African countries of Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Tijan Diba, one of the beneficiaries and team leader, expressed optimism that the initiative will open doors to meaningful employment opportunities and help improve the lives of Gambian youths through dignified work abroad.
We are very much delighted and happy about the move because many people have applied for this, and we are given privilege to be part of the team that is going, especially the first 39 people that are going. And then the expectation there is high a bit because we can say that this is for the first time Gambia is having such opportunities with the Spanish government. So obviously we are thankful to Allah the Almighty for this privilege we got.
According to officials, the initiative contract for these workers is for 3 months and is strictly limited to agricultural work as outlined in their permits, with no permission to switch to other sectors. Here is Babukar Ojuf, Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment.
Today we are happy to celebrate the departure of 19 out of 39. We have another 20 to depart tomorrow, hopefully. to Barcelona, and this is for a period that is specified, a fully funded mission. I believe each and every one of you here can confirm that everything, including the visa, was free and given to you free as part of the agreement between the government of the Gambia and the Kingdom of Spain.
These workers were selected after a rigorous vetting process of over 10,000 applicants. Their deployment is part of a broader government-supported program to create meaningful employment opportunities for Gambian citizens abroad. Beyond job creation, the initiative also seeks to enhance bilateral ties between the Gambia and Spain through structured labor cooperation and skills exchange. For QTV News, I am Awa Bob.
The National Human Rights Commission, with support from the Danish Institute for Human Rights in Denmark, on Tuesday commenced a 2-day capacity building training for commissioners and staff of the NHRC on climate change and human rights in the Gambia. Lolem Kamara has the details.
As a national institution mandated to promote and protect human rights, the NHRC plays a critical role in ensuring that climate action is grounded in justice, equity, and accountability. The training brought together 30 participants, external researchers, officials from the Danish Institute on Human Rights in Denmark, and partners from the Gambia's Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. The training aims to improve their knowledge and skills, supporting the advancement of data collection on human rights and climate change in the Gambia. Jennifer Jum, the Vice Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, states the recent impact of climate change in the Gambia.
Over the years in the Gambia, we have seen loss of yield in crop farmers, loss of livestock as a result of drought, and general loss of livelihood in small cash crop productions and subsistence farming. Floods, as happened in Banjul during the rainy season, I think even last year, led to individuals losing their homes and their livelihood. And we just see, as I said earlier, that the rains have started again. And the floods did not only happen in Banjul, I think even KM and some other regions were affected. These are not environmental issues. They are human rights issues.
Madam Jum added that the Commission has made significant progress by collaborating with national and international partners, issuing advisory notes on the right to food and mental health, and advocating for inclusive policy reforms. However, she emphasized that the journey ahead requires even stronger commitment.
We must, as an institution, amplify the voices of vulnerable communities, monitor the human rights impacts of climate-related policies, and ensure that adaptation and mitigation efforts leave no one behind. Once again, let me express our gratitude to the Danish Institute, and I urge all of you, staff here present, commissioners, let us endeavor to be active participants.
Kate Griffiths, the advisor on sustainable development and human rights at the Danish Institute for Human Rights in Denmark, expressed delight in supporting and taking part in the training. In the coming days, participants will engage in discussions on topics including the impacts of environmental harm on human rights, climate change-related measures and their effects on human rights, and the legal rules and principles relevant to the environment and climate change, among others. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. Over the previous weekend, the Gambia National Olympic Committee celebrated Olympic Day 2025 in Basse Upper River region. The day is set aside to commemorate the founding of the Olympic movement. Mamadou Gajaga has the rest of that.
The day kicked off with fun-filled activities in various sporting disciplines such as walk races, short and middle distance runnings, and karate. The community of Basse joined the activities to promote healthy living through sports. This reflects the theme for this year's commemoration, which is Let's Move, together for more motivation, community and joy. Baidutu Jallo, president of the Gambian National Olympic Committee, spoke about the importance of the day.
Olympic Day is much more than just a sport event. It is a day for you to get active, learn about the Olympic values, discover new things, and in progress, discover your true self. And I can assure you this morning, some of these discoveries have already taken place.
The various activities marking the day reflected the inclusive nature of Olympic spirit, with persons living with disabilities taking part in the march past in their wheelchairs. There were races for boys and girls and a walk for health for adults to raise awareness about physical exercise to encourage healthy living. Basse in the Upper River region was hosting the Olympic Day celebration for the first time. Lamin Jete is the Deputy Governor of the Upper River region.
To the Gambian National Olympic Committee, we thank you for bringing this important celebration to Basse. Your decision to hold this event here is a clear recognition of the potential, talent and energy that exists in our region. The Olympic spirit reminds us that it doesn't matter where you come from or how old are you. What matters is the will to try, the courage to continue, and the joy of coming together as one.
Olympic Day is celebrated globally and takes place on the 23rd of June each year to commemorate the day the International Olympic Committee was founded in 1894, marking the birth of the modern Olympic Games. As the Gambia marks another Olympic Day, participants are reminded of the power of sports in promoting social cohesion, health, and competition to achieve excellence through hard work and dedication. The day also celebrates the Olympic movement's mission to make the world a better place through sports. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
From that story by Mamadou Gajaga, now let's take a look at news beyond our borders. In a landmark move to prioritize the rights and well-being of Africa's youngest citizens, the African Union, together with its partners, concluded the Africa Conference on Childcare in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, issuing a strong call to action for inclusive and quality healthcare across the continent. More in this with Loliam Kamara.
Held from June 18 to 28th, the conference brought together ministers responsible for childcare from AU member states to discuss strategies and renew commitments toward building strong partnerships for inclusive childcare in Africa. The Gambia's Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare represented the government of the Gambia at the event. The conference reaffirmed Africa's long-standing pledges on the key continental instruments, including Agenda 2063, which envisions a people-centered Africa, and Agenda 2040, which aims to build a continent fit for children. Leaders used the occasion to echo the urgent need to act decisively, citing worsening threats to child welfare, such as armed conflict, malnutrition, natural disasters, and lack of access to developmental services. Referencing the Declaration of the Rights and Welfare of the African Child, adopted in 1979, and the ACRCC Charter, leaders acknowledged the ongoing challenges African children face and pledged to intensify efforts to protect their rights. The Gambia's Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Honorable Fatou Kinte, emphasized during the closing session, and I quote, "The well-being of our children is non-negotiable. It is through nurturing and empowering them that we ensure a prosperous Africa." End of quote. Some of the major concerns raised at the event include that children in Africa face risk due to armed conflict, hunger, disasters, socio-cultural issues, and developmental challenges. The urgent need for special protections and care, particularly for children with physical and mental immaturity, among others. The call ended with a firm acknowledgement that sustainable human capital development starts with children, and that targeted action now is key to shaping Africa's future. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
Before we leave, let's recap our main headlines. The Gambia has joined the strong condemnation of Israeli airstrikes on Iran and reaffirmed its steadfast support for Palestine at the 51st OIC Foreign Ministers meeting in Istanbul. At an event at the Gambian Naval Command Grounds in Banjul, 2 rigid-hulled inflatable boats donated by the British High Commission were handed over to the Naval Command on Wednesday. On Tuesday, the Embassy of the Gambia in Washington, D.C. confirmed reports that the Gambia may be among 36 countries facing possible travel restrictions to the United States of America. The first group of 39 Gambian workers chosen for seasonal employment departed for Spain on Tuesday from Banjul International Airport. And in international news, in a landmark initiative to prioritize the rights and welfare of Africa's youngest citizens, the African Union and its partners issued a strong call to action for inclusive and quality healthcare across the continent in Ethiopia. Those were the main headlines. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.